Cierra breaks silence on Love Island USA exit, apologizes for incredibly offensive slur. Days after her abrupt exit from the Love Island USA villa, Cierra Ortega is addressing the reason she was removed from the show. In the week leading up to her departure, some social media users expressed outrage over screenshots of alleged Instagram posts and messages in recent years that showed Ortega using a racist slur against people of Asian descent to negatively refer to her eyes. The 25-year-old, wearing a sweater with empathy emblazoned across the front, opened a nearly 5-minute video on Instagram on July 9th by issuing an apology to not just anyone that I have hurt or deeply offended, but most importantly, the entire Asian community. I am deeply, truly, honestly so sorry. While I was in the villa, there were some posts that resurfaced from my past where I was very naively using an incredibly offensive and derogatory term, she said. I had no idea that the word held as much pain, as much harm, and came with the history that it did, or I never would have used it. I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse, because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It struck a nerve. Bachelorette Jen Tran speaks out on Cierra's 2024 post. She went on to call the post not an apology video, but rather an accountability video. On July 6th, she was phased out of the Peacock romance competition show, in which she first appeared at the end of the June 3rd premiere episode. Around 15 minutes in, as narrator Ian Sterling announced she has left the villa due to a personal situation. She and her partner, Nick Van Steenberga, were the only couple to label themselves as exclusive. Their fellow Islanders appeared to consider them frontrunners to win the cash prize as the season concludes Sunday, July 13th. What happened? What we know about Cierra Ortega's Love Island USA exit. Cierra had no idea slur she used was racist. Ortega said she did not know the racist origins of the word that she'd used in multiple social media posts and explained, "I do want it to be known that I genuinely had no idea that it was a slur. I had no idea of its meaning. The slur was immediately removed from my vocabulary in 2024, she said, when she'd posted an Instagram story, and a follower of mine reached out to correct me and let me know that what I was saying was incredibly hurtful. She shared a screenshot of a direct message exchange and denied any narrative that she had doubled down on using the word, as alleged in a screen grab of an exchange that is circulating on social media. Analyzing this season's scandals, cancel culture, and why Gen Z has a big problem. Cierra. I completely agree with the decision to remove me from the villa. Ortega did not push back against the Love Island USA producer's choice to have her leave the reality TV show. I completely agree with the network's decision to remove me from the villa. I think that this is something that deserved punishment, and the punishment has absolutely been received for sure, she said. Ortega, an Arizonan whose family is of Mexican and Puerto Rican heritage, went on to denounce the backlash from viewers, some of whom have allegedly called U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on her family. My family doesn't feel safe in their own home. I'm receiving death threats, she said. There's no need to fight hate with hate. I don't think that that's justice. Zach speaks out. Casa Amor cast member on what producers said when Cierra left. Prior to Ortega's video, on July 6th, her family also posted a statement on Ortega's Instagram story that criticized the actions of some of the show's viewers. We're not here to justify or ignore what surfaced. We understand why people are upset, and we know accountability matters. But what's happening online right now has gone far beyond that, the lengthy statement said in part. The attacks on her family, her friends, even her supporters, it's heartbreaking. It's uncalled for. And no one deserves that kind of hate, no matter what mistake they've made. According to a report by Stop AAPI Hate and the University of Chicago's National Opinion Research Center released in June, a survey of more than 1,000 people across the U.S. who identify as Asian American and/or Pacific Islander found that 72% of young adults 18 to 29 years old said they'd experienced hate acts. More than half of adults 30 to 44 years old, as well as 46% of 45 to 59-year-olds and 44% of those over 60 years old reported such experiences, which include harassment and institutional discrimination. This article originally appeared on USA Today. Cierra from Love Island apologizes to the Asian community.